I just read a comment on one of my videos. Basically, the guy, he's a friend of mine. We're Facebook friends too, and he just had a beautiful baby boy. Anyway, what he said was, inside every cop is a fireman dying to get out, and that's funny because I know the banter that firemen and cops have that go back and forth, and it's pretty funny. Anyway, this is the Luxembourg knife. Sehr schön. Not viel Arbeit. Okay, I'm gonna go put this on the buffer and see what kind of shiny we get out of this thing. I gotta redo the blade a little bit because I had masking tape on it. But the blade is basically mirror polish. You just gotta touch it up. Now we're gonna do the handle and see how shiny we can make this thing. And I think I may be able to get to the sheath today. I have one more sharpfinger that is the old style. Oh yeah, I got a boom box. Not really a boom box, but I can't even hear in here with the fan going and the air conditioner going, and with me sanding by hand, I can't hear my phone. I can't hear videos when I watch my phone. I am definitely hard of hearing, and I have a specific type of hearing loss. I honestly don't know what it's called, but when there's other noises like a fan or an air conditioner, it wipes out anything else that I can hear. And let's just say a voice. If my wife comes in here and talks to me, her voice sounds just like the fan and the air conditioner, and I cannot hear her until she speaks over, you know, the volume of the fan and the air conditioner. And same at the house. We have two fans running at the house to circulate air. And when those fans are going and the TV's on, I just nod and smile at my wife because I can't hear a word she's saying. And I know it gets aggravating for the people who are trying to talk to you, but it's also just as aggravating for the people who have to explain to you every time I can't hear. If you want me to really hear what you say, you gotta speak loud or mute the TV or shut the fans off, because there's not a snowball's chance in hell that I can hear what you're saying. I can't help it. There's nothing I can do about it. Just the way it is. So I bought this so I can hear it over all the other noise in here, and it's as loud as it'll go, and I can, you know, make out what's going on video. As I can hear right now, I'm watching 65 Ford put a Honda, 4-cycle Honda engine on a scooter, and as soon as I buff this out, and if it looks good, I'm gonna go to my leather shop and finish watching the video in there. I forgot why I even turned around. This is the last of the old style. Now, I haven't altered the new style yet. I'm gonna do it in small increments. But this is my last sharp finger of the old style, and I'm gonna make this a satin finish. I'm gonna use synthetic, you know, lower, less expensive handles. It's not gonna be fancy like the one I'm working on now, because I have a new finish that I want to try, and it's a friend of mine. I believe he's in Pennsylvania. I think he's in Pennsylvania, and I just call him Chops because I don't know what the last part of his name is, so I just call him Chops. Anyway, he suggested aluminum oxide, and I had looked at this, but anyway, I went ahead and bought a box of aluminum oxide to tumble this knife in. When the box showed up, I don't think it's going to be enough. I may have to order another box. I'm going to try it, see what it'll do. If this knife is too big to tumble in what amount of aluminum oxide I have, I'll make a neck knife and tumble it in there, and if it works, I'll buy more aluminum oxide and do my bigger knives, because you know, a nice matte finish that will hold a little oil, you know, whether it be cooking oil or WD-40, and prevent it from rusting, because these are high carbon knives, and if you don't protect them from moisture, they will patina. Not well, they, you know, they might even rust. I've showed you the rust, but those were completely unprotected. Let me see if I can turn this over and see any rust on. No, see, this is protected from rust by the Dicom, which is this bottle right here. Basically, it's just light layout dye, but you know, when you cover the whole knife with it, it just keeps the moisture off the knife. And what I do is I wax all my knives. I use this wax here. And I have another type of wax at home that's very, very expensive. And the last thing I do before I wrap them up and ship them is I put a coat of that wax on the blade and on the metal parts and wipe it off. It's museum quality wax, and that's exactly what it's designed for, is to prevent, you know, moisture and humidity from getting to the steel. So, okay, I'm gonna go buff that knife, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, are you ready for this? Make sure you've got your sunglasses on. Okay, boy, did that come out nice. I got to go back on a buffer. There's just a little bit right up here that I could buff out a little more. Let me see if I can catch that in just the right light. I think maybe you can see them two little tiny scratches, and basically what that is buffer mark. And there's a way you take it off the buffer, and you got to be careful, because if you don't take it off the buffer the right way, it'll leave one last little buffer mark on there, and it won't rub out with the wax. So I got to go back on the buffer and knock that little buffer mark off there, and that's it. And then I'm going to make a sheath. So I think I'll do that. I'm going to go turn the air conditioner on in that room, and I'm going to leave the air conditioner on out here. It's going to be 105 today. And if I turn the air conditioner off out here and it warms up, I'll never get it cool again. And I plan on coming back in here and working on this here, because I really want to experiment with this with that aluminum oxide in the tumbler and see what kind of finish I can get on that. Regardless, this is going to be just a sanded finish with a lower end, and I don't mean cheaper or to me less expensive is all it is. Let me see what I got here that I could actually use in there without Cocobolo. I have synthetic. Let's see here. This is black. This is white. I have this. Oh, I got these. These kind of look nice. You know what? I think I'm going to use these. They're a little bit on the thin side, so I'll probably use a filler. Or, wait. I have this. If anybody has any interest in this knife, I'm a long way from putting the handles on. And this is actually G10. I freaking hate G10, and when I run out of G10, I'll never use it again. But I have it. And these come out really nice. These multicolored, basically. And when you sand it, what you get is all these different colors shining through. It's interesting. This, I'm almost positive, was made by John Solar up there in Maine. It was made by him, I'm sure it was. And so was this, but I don't have the means of splitting that yet. And he gave me one other. John Solar makes duck calls, and he gave me that too. So if you see something here you like that interests you, let me know, and I'll make this for you. But I've got black, I got this white stuff, this, I got green G10, and I got this. I really like this. This is some interesting stuff. It's come out real nice before. So, but that's what I would use on that. Give that a bang. Okay. And I don't know what I would ask for this. Probably $185, and that would include the shipping. I get I get $225 for these, including that includes the shipping. Okay. Let me I might probably put this out in the sun and take some glamour pics of it and put this on my website, because I do not have a sharpfinger on my website yet. So this is going to be the new example, but I'm going to go back to the buffer and clean that up real quick. And then we're going to the leather shop and make a nice sheath. About time for some new batteries on that thing. It's turning really, really slow. Well, I've learned something about this new glue I'm trying, Duco cement. It takes a lot longer to dry, and you have to use about 3 or 4 times more than you would use of the barge cement that most leather makers, most people who do leather use barge, and there's a reason. And as soon as I go through the 50 freaking tubes I bought of this crap, I'll go back to using barge. What a mistake this was. Huge difference, huge difference. Now I'm gonna go leave this clamped. See, I let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then I came back. I took the clamps off, and it came apart right away. So I re-glued it. Now I'm gonna go back to the other shop and start working on another sharpfinger, the one I told you I was gonna just make satin finish and synthetic handles. So let me go put some bevels on that and get started on it, and maybe I'll be back in about an hour. Maybe that'll be enough. I just realized I had 2 pieces of this wenge wood, that's the last of it right there, that I could use on this sharpfinger. I think I'm going to, because it really made a nice handle. And if you want to see what that handle looks like, go back and look at the very last BC special that I made that had this wood on it, and this is what's left of that block. So that's what I'm going to use, unless somebody wants this. This will be uploaded tomorrow. Well, today's Thursday. This will be Friday morning. You'll see this. And if you want this sharpfinger, let me know. And you get, you can pick whatever handle you want. But if nobody wants it, I'm just going to go ahead and use the wenge wood. That's some really nice wood. Okay, let me pet my dog, and then we'll get to work. Okay, I've got it. Bevels ground and the first sanding done. I made pretty good progress on that right there. There's this little divot right here. That's actually a flaw in the steel, and I just take too much sanding to sand that up. But since this is going to be a satin finish, or even a matte finish, if that aluminum oxide abrasive works right, we'll see. But so it's been about probably an hour, so I'm going to go in and see if that leather, the glue, has dried enough for me to sew that leather together, and then I'm going to finish that, and that knife will be done, except for the edge, which I always do the very last thing. So let me get back in the leather shop. Well, I tried a little something different. I used some white thread on this, and I kind of like it. All right, I'm going to stick the knife in here and have a look-see. I still have to dress my edges, but I'll do that in a second. And then I'm going back to the knife shop, and I'm going to continue sanding on that sharpfinger. Just another couple hours. Who knows? Maybe I can get it up to 400. It would be nice if I could get it up to 400. And I don't know whether to try that matte finish before or after. Good Lord. Sorry about that. Before or after heat treatment. You know what? I'm going to Google that. Maybe there's a video out there with somebody else using aluminum oxide and whether they used it before or after heat treating, because I really think this may be the one. All right, let me get that knife in here. I'm going to dress the edge and I'll show you the final picture of this one. Okay, I have got this sanded up to 320. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. That's a real nice start on a satin or a matte finish right there. And the little nick divot that was there, it's mostly gone. I can't even find it, to tell you the truth. So maybe I did sand it out. Okay, this is 320. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and heat treat this and temper it. To get my aluminum oxide into the tumbler, I got to do too much work. I got to empty what's in the tumbler out now. And I'm going to move my tumbler, and I got to do a little cleanup. And I don't want to do anything until I get that area that I usually work in cleaned up and rearranged, because I'm just going to make it easier for me. Anyway, I got to do a little rearranging in there. I got to empty what's in the tumbler out before I can put the aluminum oxide in. So I'm going to go ahead and get this heat treated, tempered. I'm going to clean it up with 320, which is what this finish is right now. And then I'm going to bring it up to 400. And then I will throw that in the tumbler with the aluminum oxide and see what kind of finishes it produces. So that is it for today. Boy, oh boy, 105 degrees. It's not 105 right now. I'll tell you what, it's 101 or 2. And I am in, what is essentially a metal can with very little insulation in the ceiling and basically none in the walls and none on the floor. And I'm glad I came out here early and turned that AC on. The trailer itself, there's no AC in the rest of the trailer, which is why I don't want to do too much with the tumbler right now, because it's easily, 105 or better in the trailer with no air conditioning, because it's like standing in an oven. So I'll get to that when it's cooler in the morning. Alrighty, y'all have a good Friday. This ought to get me a visit from the game warden. We have 4 fox that hang out in the yard. And they hang out right back there where that big pine tree is laying down horizontally. They kind of lay up there during the day. Pretty little thing.